guys, welcome to the channel. It's Wa, and I appreciate that you're here with me today. Look, we have a Suzuki today. It's been a while since I've done one of these actually, and luckily this time around they sent us this new, or should I say fairly new, it's been here for a while, XL6. This is the GLX top spec version, and yeah, this one is an automatic. Whew, we have a lot to talk about when it comes to that one, but otherwise it's powered by a natural aspirated 1.5 liter 4-cylinder turbo engine, 77 kilowatts, 138 newton meters of torque. And yeah, those numbers, they seem small because this car can take up to 6 passengers, and we're going to talk about that on the way. But without further ado, then everything else, I think we should just rather hit the road and talk about it on the way. Let's do it. Hey, let me get this nice feature out of the way. Look at these guys. They have like vents inside the cup holders, and these vents they're responding to the aircon. I mean, in terms of temperature and so on. I'm not sure if they heat up, but I'm pretty sure they can cool up your stuff. I think this is a cool feature. Suzuki has done nice. We've seen this in much more pleasure cars, or the Chinese in this case, because they can do it even with lower prices. Otherwise, yeah. Yo, let's hit the road. And before you even go far, hey, you know, there's this thing that I don't know if it's a Suzuki thing or Suzuki X Toyota thing, because I know I've experienced this in the Yaris. Look at the steering wheel. You lock it like facing wherever you want to maneuver to, and then when you leave the steering wheel and then you start driving, it maintains that position a bit. I mean, I understand, but I love it when the steering wheel just quickly just go back to position, like to straighten up. But this one doesn't do that. It's so weird. I don't like it. I mean, from the word go, as you're moving it, you can tell whether the car is agile or not. And that's one thing that for sure that I don't think you're going to experience in this car anytime soon. So yeah, let me not start with complaints. Let's just get on the road and seamlessly go into these issues. Yeah, anyway, the Yaris that I referred to is that one that was made in India. I think it's the 2017 one, the bulky one. You remember that Yaris? Yeah, that one. And I think it plays a big role and in terms of how this car feels, because, you know, I get a sense that I understand where this car was made, because partly because I was there just recently actually, and I understand where this car comes in, especially when it comes to Suzuki International as a whole, the offering that they have and what they are actually driving in India, the kind of cars that are being used by families that are big and so on, because this car is like XL6. I think it means extra large for 6 people. I think that's what it means. I stand to be corrected. But hey, the thing is, when you're there, you understand the 6-seaters are working a lot. They love 6-seaters. And I keep asking myself, is it the same for South Africa? Because I feel like this car is in a very weird space, because you're sitting at a point or in a country where there is preference for cars that they use. In fact, I can count the MPVs that are being used as a family car. I can only think of 1 or 2 in this case, and they're bigger cars. I'm talking your Vitlas, I'm talking your Caravelle or Kumbi, whatever they call it. But in this case, we have these ones that mostly are being used for commercial purposes, like you have the Ertiga, of course, which is clear when you're buying it, you're probably going to go into the business of transporting people. I'm talking low-cost transport in this case. But this one, it's being sold to us as a family car kind of a thing, right? Where you have these amazing seats, sitting 6, you know, you can travel with your family, practicality, and so on and so on. I know Suzuki would say style, but when I'm looking at it as well, I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, stylish, yeah. For me, okay, it's not for me when it comes to that. But I understand that there's a select few that will always tap into this kind of thing. I mean, this thing has been there for some time. If you remember very well, back in the days when we were still using high ACs and so on, there used to be like a GLX model, you know, with soft seats. I think that was Alcantara or something like that, the material that was in there. You know, even with the Ventures, I think we did have like some GLEs that look like, you know, you can just use them for family and not necessarily take them to the taxi rank. And that's something that I'm feeling with this car. You know, with the Ertiga, you can easily just take it to the taxi rank and use it for that business. And this one might be perceived to be a little bit too soft for the taxi rank. At the same time, family use as well might be perceived to be a little bit too hard. And that's why I'm saying it's a little bit awkward. I mean, when I look at it, I can't stop thinking about the Ertiga that is just dressed up for some reason. Because, look, here's the thing. When I look at it from the front, for me to remove that commercial look out of it, it's very difficult. I see what they've done with the design. I mean, the incorporation of chrome elements, like just looking at the LEDs, I mean, from the fog lights, day running lights, together with the main lights as well. Those things do add that element of saying, you know what, maybe this is not that commercial, but I can't remove it. I see that they added this ruggedness. I mean, there's this base plate that they've added as well. I mean, coming to the side, you look at it, it has the cladding as well. Also, these silver bits at the bottom. Is it silver? Whatever that thing is. It looks like it's just integrating together as a, like, I don't even know if they were trying to make it look like off-roadish, because when I look at a car that has a lot of cladding, that's what I'm thinking about. But these wheels are a little bit too small, the way they look on the car as well. I know that there are other countries that are getting like 16 inches, but we're only getting 15 inches. This is the top spec GLX. So from that perspective, yeah, I think the rear for me, the tail lights, they look amazing. I love them when they light up. I like them. But in terms of the design overall, it doesn't matter what angle I look, it does actually look commercial to me. I just pulled an overtake, and yeah, you can hear that the engine is talking there. But we'll talk about that in front. You know what? Coming inside though, it's a different kind of feeling. Look, there's a lot of plastic use on this car, and the way it feels, of course, when you consider that, and the exterior as well, that's where it adds to that commercial feel. It keeps ringing in my head. But if I was to look at the design elements themselves, I think they were not off in saying this is a family car. I mean, the steering wheel itself, this is well designed. This looks amazing. I mean, yeah, it looks beautiful. I love it. It feels nice as well. And when I'm looking at the dash, no, wait. Okay, the aircon beats, I think they're nice, okay? But this screen, the way it's placed, maybe if it was that one that looks like that, you know, the one that is in the Baleno, I think that is nice. But I understand, maybe it was just the differentiation, of course, that needed to be done. And you turn around, the seats. Guys, Suzuki, please teach everyone. Like, some of them are so expensive that their seats are not even that comfortable. But these seats, guys, I mean, the size, number one, snuggles so well. I'm not like that big, but I love how they are. I mean, yes, they won't be supporting you on curves and so on, but this is not a car that's going to be taking sharp curves and everything like that. I mean, when I'm just looking at them, the second row as well, these captain's chairs, they've done a great job. This is comfortable. This is very comfortable. Way more comfortable than some of the very expensive cars that I know. And you get into third row as well. They didn't ignore the comfort as well. They went on with it, just that, yeah, you know, as much as you can recline and everything else, yeah, it's the third row at the end of the day. But for some reason, when I consider the practicality of this car, because of the way that they've designed it and the passage that they've created, this is a 6-seater, right, not a 7. So the passage is creating easy access to the back, and because you can also slide the seats, the second row ones, forward and backward, and you can recline them and so on, you can create space for the people at the back. And I think for me, probably with three-row cars, this is probably the most comfortable. What's my English saying? The most comfort that I've experienced in a 3-row car. Even some bigger cars than these are not as comfortable as that. I think in there you can do probably 2 hours and not necessarily feel like, you know what, I'm out. And I'm like 1.7 meters in height. Yes, it's not the most comfortable, but compared to other 7-seaters out there, it's probably the best when it comes to that. So from Practicality's point of view, I think they've nailed it. Jump into the boot as well, you will find that there is adequate space, even for like I think suitcases, probably medium size. You can put maybe 2 or 3 in there. And yeah, I think from traveling perspective, that is a good thing, because if you're with the family, you pack in the same bags or whatever, mix up whatever, and then you can actually be able to travel in here without a trailer. So yeah, that's the sound system, and I guess in the XL6 that's the best they have. It has a 6-speaker sound system, and I'm not even gonna complain. I'm not even gonna say criticize it or anything like that. I didn't expect anything because it's a budget sound system, and yeah. But what I like is that you can literally hear the sound and whatever the instruments that are in there, and it's not necessarily disturbed much by the wind and road noises, which is a good thing, because for a car like this, especially when you're driving it around just around between 100, 110, 115 towards 120, you get a decent amount of road noise and wind noises, and that's something that I like about it, because once you play the sound system you can easily delete those. But I can't say the same about the engine. That's a different story altogether. I mean, if you try to pull it like this, that's what I'm saying. I don't think this is the best way to drive it. It doesn't give much. You feel like you're dragging some, I don't know, you're probably dragging some bricks or whatever that may be in the car, because this engine, I don't think it's sufficient for this car. And now it's paired with this 4-speed automatic. There is nothing much you can do. It's not like you can force it to change down or whatever that may be. It's just, no, I don't necessarily like this pairing. I think I know when a car needs a turbocharger, and this is one such instance, because I'm alone in the car right now, and I can see that actually it does try to move. But can you imagine with 6 people, and Suzuki has an option of giving you this car with like a tow bar, so that means they're encouraging you that you can get a trailer as well. Imagine a trailer, 6 people, and you have to drive this car on the highway like this. I mean, pulling an overtake, I don't know how that is going to be. I really don't, because 77 kilowatts, 138 newton meters of torque, yeah, it's not enough, honestly, for this car. I feel like it's screaming a lot, and sometimes it does. The transmission as well, the way it responds to changing slopes when you're going up and down and so on, it changes easily, and suddenly it's screaming. Just to put your foot down a bit, it's already screaming. And that's one thing that for me, I think it's a letdown. I'm not a big fan of this. I spoke about this in the Baleno, but luckily the Baleno is not a big car, and you can manage that. I think the first and second gears, their ratios are too low. And yeah, it screams a lot until it gets to a certain point. I think when it gets to gear 3, gear 4, I think then it gets a little bit easier. But at the same time, I'm still not a fan of this engine. Literally, I think if it's turbocharged, we can be friends. But for now, no. But where I can give it to them is on comfort. I don't know how they managed to nail this thing, because they nailed it. I mean, this McPherson in front and Toshin Beam at the back. At some point, I thought it's multi-link at the back because of the way that it feels. I mean, this car is comfortable. Toshin Beam is that kind of a suspension where the rear wheels is like they're just connected. They're just moving together, man. They're just moving together. Up and down is the same thing. When it's banging, it's banging. Everyone is feeling it. Maybe because I didn't have people at the back, but hey, they managed to capture comfort well. And I think as well because these tires that are here are big. It's like 185. 65, that's a big aspect ratio, so I understand that from the ground to the rim it's quite a distance, so it adds to the comfort as well. So for that, I give it to them. The comfort levels are quite amazing, but because the tires now they are like 15-inch, and when you look at them even in the arch, you can just see that actually these tires are small. The agility there is something else. You're not expecting much to take curves and so on. You can feel the roll a bit. Even the way that it moves on curves, you can feel that I need to be a little bit careful about it because it's not made for that. Anyway, it's just a long car. I mean, you're not going to drive it like a performance car at the end of the day. So, comfort levels, they got it. Unfortunately, because of the tire size, it affects the agility of it thereof. Another thing that's actually a bummer for me, I think this one needs to be looked at. Suzuki, dual front airbags only. I mean, this car is supposed to be carrying 6 people, and we're only getting 2 airbags in front. And I've seen internationally, I think it was tested, and the safety rating was 3 stars. And that car had 4 airbags in it. I don't know about this one. So, that one I think needs to be relooked at. Otherwise, fuel consumption, I've been averaging nothing less than 8 liters to 100. I think on paper it's about 6 point something. And yeah, maybe it can be attributed to how I was driving it. But yeah, I'd never saw anything less than 8 liters to 100 on this car. So that's the fuel consumption that I experienced. But hey, I think maybe one thing you like is the pricing, because it's not even 400k to get all of this. I mean, at the end of the day, still a big car, can still do a lot of business, especially I think for those that are looking to do some sort of premium business like airport transfers and so on. I think this is good value for money because you don't need to rush anywhere. You're driving tourists anyway. So yeah, in that case, I think you will get the lower spec GL manual for around 336,900, I think, and the top spec of this car will take you all the way, this particular one, at around 370k. And when I'm looking at the competitors, I can think about the BRV and the Triber. The Triber is undercutting this because it's starting at a very low price of like what, 229k to 265, but I don't think it's as solid as this. But when I'm looking at the BRV from Honda, that's quite expensive. I mean, it starts above 400,000, around 410k, and topping at around 490k. So I think there is an element of greatness when it comes to the pricing of this car. As much as, yeah, if you want to go into a commercial for public purposes, probably the Ertiga is the best one because it starts at around what, 273,000, I think. So yeah, if you decide to pick it up, you're getting a 4-year or 60,000 kilometers service plan and a 5-year or 200,000 kilometer warranty. And from what I know, this thing is made to last. With that said, thank you so much for being here with me today. Really appreciate it. Till next time, I am out.